Stewart is riding high as the newest member of the long-running Western swing band, Asleep at the Wheel. Formed over 50 years ago, the band has just released its 32nd album, and that's Ian singing and playing the fiddle. We tracked him down to his home in Austin, Texas, to find out a little more about him and how he joined this band with such a rich legacy.
I'm from Austin, Texas originally, and I've been playing fiddle just about all my life. I started playing violin as a young kid and then got into country music in middle school, and just from, listening to records and, just being in the Austin music scene, and just stuck with it. And a good friend of mine, Mr. Danny Levin, who was one of the original members of Asleep at the Wheel.
Right.
He brought my name up with the organization when the position opened up. And so he threw my name in the hat, and here we are.
It's as easy as that.
Well, there's a lot of in between there, but yeah,
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's not that easy. It is about that easy.
So what's it like for a guy who's in his year, like 33 years old, I think, right? Somewhere in there.
That's correct.
You're joining a band that's older than you by a lot, by a couple of decades. So is there a process you have to kind of go through to kind of assimilate yourself in with the rest of these characters?
Absolutely. I mean, it's like any organism or organization, you got to find how you fit into it. And, but it's been, as far as, fitting in with a group of guys, it's been pretty painless and pretty seamless. We're all come together under a common cause, and it's been, like you said, going for 55 years, they know what they're doing. So, just, for me, it's been just, keep my mouth shut and, keep my ears open and, and know when to step in and speak up and, and just know when to do the right thing. It's just as easy as that, but, yeah, it's been wonderful. I mean, this group is giving me an opportunity to play the music that I love. I grew up listening to this music, and, it's what, really sparked me as a kid, Bob Wills music, country music, and to be doing that on a large stage and, is a dream come true, really.
Right. Yeah, because I was looking at some of your recent set lists, and you're doing everything from, like Guy Clark songs and Bob Wills to Louis Jordan and Waylon Jennings. It's fairly diverse. So how did you educate yourself? Were you always into this stuff from day one, or did you have to do a little? Yeah.
Yeah, and I've always been interested. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, neither of my parents really listened to country, specifically country music, but they've got an interesting musical palette,
Okay.
And
well, that helps.
Yeah, and but it was a lot of sort of like classical music and then classic rock. That was
Right.
sort of but from there, I, for whatever reason, just sort of, it was cosmic channel I tapped into with the violin. And so just getting interested in violin music, fiddle music, and just seeing how it fit into popular culture, through the ages and eons. It's an old instrument,
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's it occupies a special place in the band, and so really it's just, the violin's been my teacher, and that's how I come to know all this music, and, just kind of being self-educated. And, we live in a wild time with the internet, we're talking, from Texas to New Zealand about this stuff,
Yep.
And, I just was coming around right when, YouTube and, iTunes and everything was coming into play. And so, I remember when I was, in middle school, I got R. Crumb's, early, music book, that coffee table book, the yellow one, with all the different early jazz players, all the country players, all the blues players, and that coupled with YouTube was a powerful, powerful introduction into this stuff,
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing that you have all this music at your fingertips these days. I was reading the latest Bob Dylan book, where he's his favorite 50 records or something, and you're able to just like listen along with Bob while you're reading what he's saying. It doesn't matter how obscure it is, or
Right.
how it's just incredible. So it's very different than back in my day when I had to go to garage sales and find these old records.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, so what was tell me what you thought, what was your first meeting with Ray Benson like? What kind of character is he?
Ray's he's a wily character, you know. He's done it all, you know, and he's kept the band going all this time, you know, and he's, you know, he really is larger than life, you know. He's been a great mentor through this whole process, you know, and he's been you know, just very generous and, you know, letting me do my thing, and then also, you know, just, you know, having suggestions for, you know, how to, you know, best suit the music, you know. And so, you know, it's wonderful. You know, the first time I met him, you know, I just went over to his house and played a couple fiddle tunes for him. He said, all right, let's try it out and see what, you know, and see if it works. You know?
Right. All right. So obviously it's worked. You got Riding High in Texas is been out. And what was the recording process like with these guys? Was you know, you're all playing together? Who was running the show? What was the vibe like?
Well, the vibe was like it's down at Ray's Ranch. You know, he's got a farm outside of Austin, and we all met over there, and it was very casual. You know, we went in, and you know, I didn't really know what to expect. You know, there wasn't a whole lot of pre-planning that went on, and I think that that's kind of the way that Ray wanted it to be. And yeah, we cut a lot of it live. You know, and it was just, you know, we're in the room, and it was like, let's try this out. Let's try this out, and you know, for Riding High specifically, that's a song that I'd been playing for a couple of years by myself. You know, I had a solo gig, and I was playing that, you know, on a weekly basis. And, you know, when it was brought up that, all right, this is going to be a Texas album, it's all songs about Texas, I was like, I got the perfect song. You know? And so I was ready to, you know, that one was just ready to go.
Come on, let's go riding high in Texas. In my mind, said sometimes I feel I gotta leave this crazy world behind. They're all just trying to fake you, so let the Lone Star take you. We'll go riding high in Texas. We'll ride so high in Texas. We'll be riding high in Texas in my mind.
So, you know, the whole thing was pretty seamless and pretty easy. And because it was just, you know, in a comfortable environment, and it was laid back, you know, I mean, a lot more laid back than I thought it was going to be, you know. And
well, you got Billy Strings on that one. He was just here. He did a gig here, which sold out thousands of people, which shows how popular country music and roots and Americana is here in New Zealand these days. So, well, how did he get involved? Did he come in with the band, or did he do it from remote? Or?
Oh, well, he's, you know, he's a busy guy.
I know that's
he's globetrotting, but you know, he took some time, and you know, he went in. You know, we cut the track, we had it all laid out, and we had a great guitar solo. Actually, Ray's son Sam is a good guitar player, and you know, he had cut a real hot solo on there, but it was one of those things where it was, you know, electric guitar, and they were kind of like, well, you know, this is a rootsy kind of thing, you know, and Ray had done a cameo in one of Billy Strings's, you know, one of his music videos, his sort of Western epic that he, you know, put out there. And so Ray just, you know, put two and two together, and, you know, called him up and said, hey, we got this little thing, you want to throw a solo on this? And he did. He went in there and cut a great guitar track. You know, he just added a lot to it.
Right. And in addition to playing the fiddle, you're doing some singing as well. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Which ones do you sing on this record?
I'm singing Riding High. I'm singing the Charlie Daniels tune, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I'm singing that old Daryl McCall song, There's Still a Lot of Love in San Antone.
Yep.
And
good. I thought those were yours, but I wanted to make sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the Lonesome Pine Special. Yeah. The Carter family.
Oh, yeah. Very cool. So, Charlie Daniels, were you familiar with the Texas song from the CDB?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, you know, from watching the Urban Cowboy, you know, that's the first scene that, you know, he appears, you know, that's the tune he's playing.
Just want everybody to leave them alone while they drink their whiskey and roll their own, and they like their music with a little bit of southern sound. They kick up the heels after evening when the sun goes down. And you can call them country and they don't care. And if you don't like the way they wear their hair, you can take your like and shove them on up the line. People in Texas don't care if the sun don't shine.
Yeah, I mean, I've always, I've known about Charlie for a long time. I learned, they teach every school kid around here that don't went down to Georgia.
That I hope so.
I actually, as just part of my lore, I actually played that for my 5th grade talent show
Really?
with a one-eyed guitar player. Yeah, he had a glass eye. And it brought the house down. I mean, Charlie's, one of a kind. He wrote great music. He played great music.
Yep. The South's going to do it again. So what are the live shows like? Were they kind of what you expected, or what when you're up on stage doing it? What are the people like? What's it like interacting with these guys on stage?
Well, it's just like any other show, but bigger,
Right.
and Ray, he has such a devout and, following. People just love him and love his music, and the music that he's championed, this like deeply American music, and it brings out a lot of different people, and that's what's so lovely about it. But it's always different. I mean, that's the thing it's really fun and interesting and compelling about it, is that it's all these different venues, all these different arenas. And part of being on the road is just knowing how to get up there and do it in any environment, and no matter what's going on, you get up there and do it. And it's made easy by having such great fans, people that really love this music, and they're there for it, and they're hungry, and so even if we're playing in these theaters, where it's all seating, people still get up and are, going over into the aisles and dancing, because it's dance music,
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
a lot of what we play is, I mean, there's a lot of times where I was like, man, we should just get all these chairs out of here and, just have a good old fashioned sock hop, but, yeah, it's great. It's a lot of fun. I mean,
All
it's
right.
a big band, it's a big ensemble, it's a big sound, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And of course, nobody's getting any younger. You're a youngster yourself, but Ray's been around for a while, and the band has been around for a while. Do you see this kind of as a generational thing? Will it go on indefinitely?
Oh yeah. I mean, the way that I see it, I don't have any doubts about that. I don't think that Ray has any plans about slowing down.
No, I wasn't
I mean,
inferring that, but we all got to go
no, I mean,
sometime.
yeah. But, no, I mean, and that's what I like about this project, or, this band and everything, is that it is spans so many decades and generations. And, because it's such good music, it really just tears down all those barriers. It's like it brings a lot of people together.
Yeah. I mean, there's something about Western swing, especially, it just kind of makes you feel good as soon as you 3 seconds into it, and you're, like you say, want to get up and dance. So
Absolutely, yeah.
all righty. So what's the next on the agenda? Do you guys have a master plan, or are you just taking it day by day?
I think it's day by day. I mean, Ray's always cooking up something, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's another album on the horizon. And
Yeah.
there's just, it's just booking tours and getting back out there on the road, and just doing what we do.
All righty. I'd ask you, has the road changed much over there? But you're too young to ask that kind of question. So, but I'm sure it's got to be wild out there, and interesting, different areas, different countries, different people. But music kind of brings everybody together. So,
Oh yeah,
you're doing the good work.
absolutely. I sure hope so. I mean, it definitely feels that way. Music is medicine.
If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.